Okay people, I'm back again. Back for some more horror from the collection. And we're going to start off with the letter I today. First up is I Am Legend. Funny enough, it was on telly last night. But I guess most people know this one with the last man on Earth. Bit of a new take on the Amiga Man, except it's Will Smith. But I did enjoy that one. Next up is I Know What You Did Last Summer. The first one of a couple. I did mind this one, good slasher. Funny enough, I did watch these two recently. Well, I say recently. It's the US one. But a good movie. Next up is another Amicus title, Christopher Lee, I, Monster. Bit of like a different take on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but anything with like Christopher Lee in that in, and Peter Cushing as well actually, but anything with them in, you know you're in for a good movie anyway. Like I said, that's the Amicus Studios, similar to Hammer. Next up is the UK Blu-ray for I Spit on Your Grave. I do have the US one as well, which is uncut. This is unfortunately cut, but there was a lot of decent stuff in there. I bought it basically for the book and the poster. It has got a book and a poster in there as well, so it's worth having just for that. You know, I don't need to watch this movie because I got the full uncut version anyway. But like I said, just the poster. But obviously most people have seen I Spit on Your Grave anyway. Great movie from the nasty era and well worth having. Next up is the remake of I Spit on Your Grave. Now this is the US DVD unrated. Don't waste your time with the UK one because it's cut. A few bits and pieces are cut in it, so you don't want that one. This is the US unrated one, which I bought when the movie first came out. So it's on the Anchor Bay label. So stick with the uncut version for I Spit. Same again, I Spit on Your Grave number 2. Unrated as well. Don't get the UK one because it's cut, so stick with this one. Obviously a different girl in this one, but still a good movie, some good scenes in that, but stay clear of the UK one. Get the US unrated one because it's a lot better. Next up is I Spit on Your Grave 3, which is not cut in the UK. So I bought the UK Blu-ray for this, and it's pretty good. So stick with the uncut one, and this is the UK Blu release. I'm not sure what, just checking the label, Platform or something. I've never heard of them before, but good title, not too bad. Next is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, sequel to the one just now. It's a couple of the same people in it as well, the same girl and one of the same guys. Exactly the same slasher, so many years later, but it's okay and worth having. Next up is Ichi the Killer, Japanese movie. This is the US DVD unrated version. Stay clear of the UK one because it's still cut quite a bit, so you will want to get this one in uncut form, so stick with the US one. Much better release. Next up is the UK Blu release for The Incredible Melting Man. It's on the Arrow label, as you can see. This is the UK Blu release. Not a bad cover on that one actually. But yeah, that's quite an old one now. It's probably at least 1977 maybe. I remember seeing that at the cinema when it first came out. Only just got in as well. I think it was a double A back then. The next up is another Arrow title, which is The Initiation. This is the UK Blue release. That's Arrow as well, so you know it's going to be a pretty good release. Can't remember it very well. Next is Inseminoid, which is like a sci-fi horror, a space one. Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched this one. This is the UK version, so I can't remember it that well. But it's okay. Next up is this is a French horror movie actually. You can have it in French language or like a dubbed English, if I remember rightly. I think so. This is the unrated US version. Inside, I'm pretty sure it was on English as well. Been a while since I've watched it, but it's worth having. There's some quite good gore scenes in this. So that's the US Inside. Next up is one of the Friday the 13th. I couldn't keep this one with the other ones the other day because it's starting with J. This is Jason Goes to Hell. This is the US DVD. It has the unrated version and the R-rated version on. Like I told you, I'm a big fan of Friday the 13th, so a good movie as far as I'm concerned. Next up is Jason X. And to be honest with you, this is the Spanish version, but it's got an English audio as well, so it's not a problem. And to be honest with you, when this first came out, this was one of the first DVD releases what came out of this movie, so that's why I bought the Spanish one. But you know, it's not a problem. They haven't seemed to have released a good version on Blue. If it ever gets released on Blue, I will upgrade it. But it's an okay movie. Next up is Jeepers Creepers, US DVD. It's okay. I don't mind Jeepers Creepers. Not a bad movie. Next up is Jeepers Creepers 2. Basically the same sort of thing, different story, same guy. This is the UK DVD, this one. Next up is Jeepers Creepers 3. It didn't come out very long ago, this one, a couple of years ago actually, I think. Jeepers Creepers 3. That's the UK DVD. But it's okay, I don't mind Jeepers Creepers. Next up is Jennifer's Body. Okay, it's not too bad. It's, just trying to think of Megan Fox on the cover. I couldn't think of her name for a minute, and God knows why. I'm quite sure I would remember that, but it's okay. Next up is on K is a Stephen King box set. It's Maximum Overdrive, Silver Bullet, and Cat's Eye. So this one's with the little, it's very, very thin covers. They're the really, really tiny, thin covers in this one. For some reason they do them. But it's it's not a bad set, to be honest. And I only watched Cat's Eye recently, because me and my son watched it again. And I was surprised actually. It was pretty good quality for this, and I picked them up really cheap, something like $4.99 or something. But not a bad set. Next up is Laid to Rest, Chrome Sky Gull, the Chrome Skull, the like a slasher guy with his knives in that, and he has the cameras on his shoulders when he kills people. He like films it. It's an okay movie actually. I quite like that one. There's two of them. There's another one as well. Next up is Lake Placid. The crocodile one is okay. There are some sequels which I've never bothered with. The first one is by far the best one. This is the US DVD. Next up is Romero's Land of the Dead. This is the US DVD, unrated. So you want the unrated one if you can. Great movie. Always a fan of Romero ones, and Land of the Dead is a really good one. I think after Land of the Dead they probably wasn't as good, but next up is Last House on the Left. I showed you me Blu-ray of this last time. This is just a couple I've got spare ones. This is the US DVD, which is the first release I ever had on it. And it's got some forbidden footage on there, like outtakes of the movie, some extra bits of gore, which they didn't have in the movie. It's a pity actually they didn't put it back in, but never mind. Next up is another Last House on the Left, uncut. This is the UK release. This was the first time it was ever released in the UK uncut. As you can see, uncut for the first time. This is a 3-disc one. There's a lot of stuff in there, and there's quite a lot of special features in there as well. I'm not sure what else is in there. Maybe a book in there for all I know. I don't know. I haven't opened it in such a long time. But if you're like me, you like Last House on the Left. Here's Last House on the Left. This is the remake. Excellent, unrated version. US. Well worth having. Next up is Leatherface. It's like a prequel sort of one, which I enjoyed. It seems to get slagged off, but I liked it. Probably the last one came out on to do with the Texas franchise, but it's still good. Next up is a Hammer one title, Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, like vampires against kung fu versus vampires. Great title. Next up is Leviathan. This is the US one with like a 3D cover. Look, you turn it. Good movie, good undersea one. I like the undersea horror ones. Next up is Life Force, which is good. Like a vampire zombie sort of in London. Vampires from space. They come down and like infect people. Everybody turns into zombies. But it's not bad. Next up is The Living Dead Girl, unrated one. Not bad. I'm not a massive fan of that Jean Rollins films, but this is okay. Quite some good gore in this actually. Next is Lost Boys 1 and 2. Speaks for itself. Everybody knows Lost Boys. Both good movies. Obviously the first one is the best one by a mile. Worth having. Next up is an oldie one. Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, Madhouse. Good one from that era. Next up, another Hammer. The Man Who Could Cheat Death, Christopher Lee. Good title, worth having. Next up is the remake of Maniac, which is good. I enjoyed it. This is the UK Blue release for that. But I do like the remakes, and I did like Maniac. Next is the Manson family. Cannot remember it at all, so I won't be saying much about that one. Next up is Martyrs, UK DVD. What a film that is. Very strange and pretty gory in places, and quite nasty in places, uncut as well in the UK. So it is a very, very, very strange title. Next up is another one from Vincent Price again. This is The Mask of the Red Death, a really old one from the 60s, but an okay one. Next up is Midnight Meat Train. Great movie. Recently watched this one again. The guy on the train. This is the US DVD unrated version, which you would want. I have no idea if it's cut in the UK or not. Next is The Mist, more of a sci-fi sort of horror. It's a good movie. Next is UK Blue release for Mother's Day. Obviously there's two Mother's Day. This is I do have the other version. It's probably the remake of it. It's okay. I can't remember it. It was on telly once and I watched it and I enjoyed it. And then it was in the pound shop and I picked it up for £1. So it was well worth having for £1. Next up is it's like a foreign release of Mountain of the Cannibal God, which is uncut. So I got this one to go with the Shameless one, which I had on blue. Next up is another Hammer one, which is The Mummy's Shroud, which is okay. And we move on to a much better Mummy one. This is Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, which is by far the best Mummy version out there, Mummy film out there. This is the Hammer Blu-ray box set. Well, a box set, but it's got quite a few, couple of discs in there, and a great version to have. Next is My Bloody Valentine, the remake, 3D one or normal. This is the one we've got a pair of glasses in there as well. I've never watched it in 3D, but I just watched it normal. But I don't mind that. It's a good remake of the old one. Next is Near Dark, the UK DVD for that vampire movie, which is not bad. Next up is the another oldie, 60s one, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Night of the Big Heat. It's not a Hammer, but you know, it's a different company, but it's a good one. Next is Night of the Comet. This is the US DVD. Not too bad. Like zombies again, with a comet. They watch a comet come down, and some people who looked at the comet or something turn into zombies or something, if I remember rightly. Night of the Creeps, which is good as well. This is the US Director's Cut 1 DVD. Fun movie, more comedy than horror, but it's still good. Next up is Romero's first of the Dead trilogy, Night of the Living Dead. This is the US DVD, 30th anniversary edition. So he's not a bad one to get. Next up is the remake of Night of the Living Dead. Tom Savini, I think, did this one, if I remember rightly. But it's okay, and it's good for a remake. It's just a shame they don't release it on Blu-ray. Next up is the Code Red Nightmare, or Nightmares in a Damaged Brain. I showed you my Blu-ray release. This was the first version I got of it, because it was uncut until the Blu-ray came out. But a great movie, one of my favourites in the 39. Next up is Nightmare Beach. This is the UK Blu-ray release on 88. It's an okay movie. Next is The Omen. Everybody knows The Omen. This is the box set with them all in. Omen 1, Omen 2, Omen 3, Omen 4, and I think the remake's in there as well. I like The Omen, and it's a good set, well worth having. Just move a couple over, last few for today. First one is Hammer one again, Racco Welsh, 1 million years BC. Something called One Missed Call, no idea what the hell that is. Must have picked it up and not bothered with it. Paradise Lost, which is okay. Like some guys and people on this island just taking body parts. Only thing is, you're awake when they take them, so it's not that good. This is the old version of Pet Sematary, which is good. I rate this one. There's your cat on the front now. And then the last one today is the remake of Pet Sematary. This is the UK Blue release I enjoyed the remake as well. Some people didn't, but I did. So I do quite like the remake. Some people say it's not as good as the original. I actually think it might be a little bit better than the original, but that's just me. But thanks for watching today, guys, and if you've got any comments, feel free to leave them below, and I'll get back to you. I just want to say thank you to anybody who subscribed to my channel lately for the movies side of things. It's well appreciated, and I will do another one as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.